Welcome to the Oral History Podcast, featuring stories from the oral history website voicesofoklahoma.com, where Oklahomans have given generously of their time to tell their life stories for present-day listeners and for generations to come. Our entire collection is available on the website voicesofoklahoma.com. Subscribe to be notified of new Oklahoma oral history podcasts. Here's another interesting storyteller from voicesofoklahoma.com. Donna and Roger Hardesty grew up in the western Oklahoma town of Fort Cobb. They each knew the meaning of hard work when they met at age 15. Donna comes from a large family, many holding teaching degrees. After graduating from the University of Tulsa, she taught for a year at Sperry High School. She then joined Roger, becoming a real estate agent, as his construction company became the largest single-family construction company in the area with divisions in 9 Midwestern states. When the Hardesty Foundation was established in 2005, Donna placed a significant emphasis on the value of education in her grant-making endeavors, which included the Hardesty Library. Roger and Donna were truly a team, leading to the success of the Hardesty Company and Foundation, making a major impact on the Tulsa community.
My name is John Erling, and today's date is October 7th, 2025. So, Donna, would you state your full name, please?
Donna Jo Hardesty.
And your birth date?
December the 16th, 1936.
And your present age?
I'm 88. I'll be 89 in December.
Okay. Where are we recording this interview?
In my home in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Where were you born?
Frederick, Oklahoma.
Your mother's name?
My mother's name was Ethel Chaband. That was her maiden name. Chaband.
Okay. Where was she born and where did she grow up?
She grew up in Caddo County.
What was her personality like?
She was a teacher. She spent most of her life teaching. She was a good mother. She was kind and gentle and had 5 kids, which I'm not sure she planned on having that many, but our house was always dirty.
What was your house like? Was it big, small, or?
Oh, it was small, probably 2 or 3 bedroom. It was just outside Carnegie, Oklahoma.
So that means you had 5 brothers and sisters.
Yes, and I'm the oldest.
So how many girls or boys?
3 girls, 1 boy, and myself.
So that was a little close, wasn't it, in that house?
Yeah, we had little kids running around everywhere.
Your father's name?
Lloyd Manley. Lloyd W. Manley.
What was his personality like?
He was strict. He farmed as well as taught school in Carnegie. Me being the oldest, I've spent a lot of time in the field. When I was 15, I drove a pickup truck with a combine header on the back, and he drove the big truck with the combine on the back, and we went harvest in Burnett, Texas, and I drove all the way down there. I didn't even have a driver's license.
You went down there to harvest for other people in Texas?
Yes.
Way to make extra money.
And their harvest was always a little bit before ours. My father was a wheat farmer, and being further south, theirs always got ripe, and we got back home in time to do ours.
Mm-hmm. So you were expected to work, weren't you?
Yeah, I've got a good work ethic.
But he was a teacher in addition to being a farmer.
Yes, he was.
And he was a teacher where?
In Carnegie, he taught science in junior high.
Okay, and your mother?
Taught 4th grade in Carnegie.
Was a lot expected of you as far as?
I did a lot of babysitting. And Jackie, my youngest sister, who's 16 months younger than I am, did the laundry. We had a little chicken house with a washing machine and water, and we did all the laundry when the weather provided, hung them out. One thing I remember doing was Mother always made starch for us to take to the laundry room, and we starched her nightgown and hung it up and let it drip dry, and then we starched it again until it would stand up in the floor. And then we took it into her. We thought it was so funny, but she didn't think it was funny. She made us go back out and wash the nightgown again.
You guys were having fun.
I guess.
To get, like, your father, he went to college. Where did he go?
He went to OU.
OU.
And he was a wrestler.
Yeah, wrestler.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a nickname for him?
Bull.
Bull Manley.
Uh-huh.
What a name.
He was a big old guy.
And I was reading about him. He almost made the Olympics.
Yes, he did.
So would you say he was at least 6 feet or taller? Pretty big,
Yes.
tall guy?
Yeah, 6'3" or 4".
So your mother, she went to college.
She went to OU. My grandmother moved to Norman when my mother and her younger sister, she had a sister 1 year younger than she was. My grandmother rented a boarding house, a big house, and made a boarding house out of it so she could keep an eye on the girls, and took in people, sold bedrooms to people, college kids.
Oh, in Norman?
Uh-huh.
Your grandmother did that.
Yes, she loaded up and went with them.
So when your mother went there and your father was going to OU, did they go at the same time, your mother and your father?
I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
And so your grandmother was there to
Yes.
keep an eye on everybody.
Yes.
Your grandmother was quite industrious.
She was the hardest working person I've ever seen. I mean, she would get up, cook breakfast. All of my grandfather's brothers kind of moved in with him, and some of them eventually got married, but she cooked for all of them and did their laundry, and she milked the cows, and she gathered the eggs, and picked up pecans. She picked up enough pecans one fall to buy a new car, and she didn't even drive.
Wow. So that's your grandmother on your mother's side?
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't mind being poor when I was young. My parents were fairly frugal, and my mother didn't even have a washing machine until all the kids moved out. I mean, a washer dryer.
Did any of those houses early on were they all with electricity? Or did you ever live without electricity?
Yes, when we were children, we lived on a place that didn't have electricity, and it didn't have indoor plumbing or water. We had to go to the well and bring in the water, and we all took a bath once a week, and all the same bathtub and the same water. It was a lot of work.
That was in Carnegie?
It was south of Carnegie. It was on one of the farms we owned. There was a house on it, and we moved there at some point, and then eventually we moved in just outside Carnegie.
Mm-hmm. So at night, you with kerosene lamps
Uh-huh.
for your light? And for heat, you'd have a big burn wood, I suppose?
Yeah, they had a wood stove. And Roger's parents didn't have electricity or water or indoor plumbing when we married and moved in with them. But there were always, and that was the men's job, was to carry the water.
Mm-hmm.
But we all took a bath in the same water. We started with the youngest.
Mm-hmm. So even when you moved in with Roger's parents, they didn't have electricity either?
Debbie, did they have a, no, I don't think so.
No.
They did have a telephone, but I think they had to pull their own telephone line from wherever it was to their house, dig the poles and put them up.
They had to do it themselves?
Yes. And my mother's father and his brothers built the schoolhouse, and that part of the country was called Alden. My family was French. My grandfather was French, a full-blood Frenchman. And they were not well educated, but they read a lot and had a lot of good ideas. They invented something for lighting at my grandmother's house. But they're always building something. And they built a school and a church. with their own money.
But your sisters growing up, who dominated? Was it you or one of your other sisters? Were they the most dominant? Telling everybody else what to do? Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah, we had fun. I mean, my youngest sister and my sister just younger than me was always kind of a prima donna. She always liked to get dressed up. And she was not real big on working the farm. She didn't have to go to the field. It was dirty and get sunburned, and we were driving trucks when we were not old enough to drive trucks.
Yeah. What are their names?
Jackie Witt is my sister that's just younger than me. And then there's my brother who lives in Carnegie. His name is Mike. And he's probably 3 or 4 years younger than whoever I just mentioned. And then there's Karen and Kathy.
Let's talk about you now.
Okay.
Your education started in grade school. And where did you go to grade school?
I went to Carnegie, Oklahoma, Caddo County. Roger and I got married when I was in the 11th grade. And after we married, we moved in with his parents in Del City, and I finished at Del City. Then I drove to OU one semester, and then he got a job finishing concrete in Tulsa with his brother. So he moved to Tulsa, and I finished at TU.
But there's a remarkable story here. In high school, you had a baby.
Uh-huh.
And you were 16?
I know I was like 17.
17?
And that's the baby.
Oh, she's sitting right over here? And her name is what?
Deborah. Deborah Jo.
Okay. So I bring that up because despite that, you pressed on, and you must have had a lot of help with her as a youngster, and you're still going to school. Who babysat?
My mother-in-law. And when I went to school at TU, I planned all my classes around. She was in kindergarten or first grade, and I planned all my classes around her classes so that I was always home when she got there.
Obviously, that happened in high school, and then you did finish high school, obviously.
High school, and then went to OU, drove back and forth from we lived in with his parents in Del City, and I drove back and forth to OU one semester. And then we moved to Tulsa, and that's when I started TU. I had signed up to be a dietitian at OU, but when I got to Tulsa, they didn't have that degree offered. The closest thing they had was in Stillwater, but I drove there one day just to see how far it was, and the roads weren't very good back then. We're talking in the 60s. And I came home and decided that wouldn't work for me, so I went back to TU and enrolled in home economics because that was the most credits I had that would transfer to that degree. So I had a education, home economics education, and I taught school 1 year in Sperry and drove from Tulsa to Sperry to teach every day.
How about that?
And Debbie, I took her with me and enrolled her in school there.
I just marvel the way you did this. Football players, I think, in Sperry really liked you, and they played some tricks on you.
Yeah, they did.
What did they do?
I drove a Volkswagen Bug, and I was a 10th grade sponsor, and the kids really liked me. I mean, I tried to be a good teacher, but I taught home economics in one study hall, and the study hall was 7th grade. And one day I went out and I couldn't find my car, and I finally looked around and found it in the barn, the FFA barn. They had picked it up and moved it.
That's funny. But, you know, you looked at it as they all liked you, and that's
Yeah,
why they
they
did that
do.
for you.
Yeah.
Right. Along in here, we need to talk about Roger, too, because he was beginning his work
Yes.
to support the family. This goes back in your high school days and when you got married. So he worked real hard to
Yeah,
provide.
he's always been a good worker.
And then he worked construction.
Yes.
Roger also, he learned enough while he watched other houses. He worked for people who built houses, and then he learned how to do drywall, and then he learned enough to hire a crew and start
Yeah.
his own construction business.
Yes.
Did you ever think that he wasn't going to be able to provide for you?
No, I never thought that. We both worked hard. When we started building houses, we would hold open houses for our new houses. Took a lot of trade-ins up north for a down payment on a house east. People who were trying to get out of north part of town, and we took her with us. Took Debbie with us, but we worked a lot of long hours. Built a pretty good house.
You became a real estate agent, didn't you?
Yes.
Right. And so the houses up north, they would take those houses and trade them to you as a down payment on a new house.
Yes.
Then what did you do about the houses that were traded into you?
I sold them. Back then, you could assume somebody's loan. I'm not sure you can do that anymore. I would just put somebody in there who had a few $100s or more in their equity. Then I'd just put that one on the market, that whatever they traded in, and got rid of it the best way I could.
And you're learning on the go, on the fly, aren't you?
But anyway, that's the reason I quit teaching. It was the fact that I said I'd substitute the next year, and I think I substituted twice, but every day they called me to substitute. He needed me for something. He needed me to show a house or meet a contractor or something, so it got to be where I just gave up the substitution.
Mm-hmm. You two have been a team for a long time, not just being married, but professionally.
Yeah.
You were, for sure. So where's Michelle come in, the birth here? What were you doing when Michelle was born?
Working in construction.
Okay.
But there's 12 or 13 years difference between Debbie and Michelle. And I had gone to the doctor. I would like to have had 3 children. And they didn't have anything really good back then. He gave me some kind of a pill, and that didn't work. And then all of a sudden I turned up pregnant.
Well, that must have been pretty happy.
Yeah, I was
in time.
happy. Yeah, I was from a big family. And I really enjoy my family, my sisters and brother. And then 2 of my sisters live within walking distance of this house.
Oh, really?
And I see them once a week. We do a lot of gossip and socializing, and
Well, how fortunate to have your
I know.
sisters with you.
Yeah.
So did Debbie babysit Michelle?
She didn't even like the baby after we got it.
What was Tulsa like back then when you were living in Tulsa? Where did you eat, or where would you?
We had a one-bedroom apartment with a kitchenette at 708 South Trenton. It was $10 a week, I think. Share the bathroom with 10 other apartments. And we lived there probably a year. And then we moved over by TU, 2 or 3 houses down from TU. And that's how I worked out the school thing. I mean, I'd take Debbie to school, and then I'd go pick her up, and then I'd go to school. If Roger wasn't working, he was working in concrete, with the concrete then, and on cold days he couldn't work.
Yeah. He must have admired the fact that you wanted to pursue your education like that.
He didn't ever say one way or the other.
Yeah. Because he didn't do that because he went to work so that he could provide for you.
He did, and he took some correspondence courses, probably had enough to graduate from somewhere, but he never bothered to do that. It just didn't seem important to him. He's really smart.
Yeah. You and Roger, when you were sharing hobbies and so forth, he was a big hunter. Did you go along on his hunting expeditions?
Yes, I did. I've been to Africa probably 6 or 8 times. But locally, I didn't go. If he was going to somebody's ranch to shoot a deer, I didn't go. But
No.
I did go the trips to Africa.
But those were big game that you were
Yes.
there.
Yes.
And you enjoyed going on those hunting expeditions?
Yeah, it was kind of a cultural shock to see how the people live, but it was interesting.
You also went up to Alaska.
Yes.
What happened there?
Well, we did. We went to Alaska, but nothing exciting happened. We went muskox hunting, and I didn't go out with them because they went on snowmobiles. And they got us muskox, and they brought it in the house when they came in that night. First of all, I said to the Eskimo woman, "Don't you think we should start dinner?" And she said, "Oh no, we never start dinner till we see them show back up."
Oh,
Because sometimes the weather would get so bad, and there were a few cabins stuck here and there that they could go into and stay through a storm. And she brought it in and skinned it that night in the living room floor on a tarp.
wow. And then had dinner.
Yeah, and the Eskimo there get a lot of money. Still do, I think. But she had a grand piano in this little house, a sewing machine that didn't work. I've tried to fix that for her. I got it fixed. I doubt if it stayed fixed. And I went to the school and just had something to do. And so I asked the kids, do you have any questions about Oklahoma? And one says, "No, but have you ever been to Hawaii?" That's where they all go because it's warm.
From Alaska.
Yeah.
And what did you do for entertainment in Tulsa? Did you go to movies? Did you?
We went to some movies, yeah. We didn't have a TV for a while.
No.
We used to go to the drive-in.
How about restaurants that you went to?
Jamil's. We didn't go out very often, but usually we went to Jamil's if we wanted.
How about stores, clothing stores and all? Where did you shop in Tulsa?
Yeah, we didn't shop very much, but I shopped at Vandiver's downtown.
Mm-hmm. You know, I suppose you were pretty careful about how you spent your money, too, in those days.
We were, yeah. There wasn't a lot of it, and it had to go far.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you were building the apartments, you were overseeing the finances, weren't you? Weren't you the accountant?
I was mostly building houses, the single family. Roger went over to apartments and commercial, and I handled all the single family. And I sometimes had 40 or 50 houses going at one time.
But you were an accountant, too. Weren't you overseeing the finances?
Well, I wrote all the checks to the subs and stuff like that, but I was busy.
And then you drove this old truck,
Yes, I did.
a work truck?
To school when I was going to TU. It had a big hole in the bottom of it, and it's a wonder I didn't gas myself.
Wow.
It was rusted out, the bottom of it. I don't know where we got that.
But when Roger was building houses or apartment buildings, not only here, but in other communities,
Yes.
financially, life was getting much better for you.
It was some better, yeah.
Right. So you remember that one house you talked about when you moved into a better house. Where was that?
We took one of our own houses and lived there for a little while, and then we took a trade-in directly across the street from South Roads Mall. And we lived there for a while. And then Roger built another house for a little bit further south, near 51st and Sheridan. And we sold that house and moved to a bigger house.
Well, that must have been interesting. I mean, you started out basically with not much of anything, and then to graduate to what you did.
Yes. It is amazing. Yeah. I never expected it. I mean, I never thought about it. We just got up and did what we had to do every day.
Right. But then as you look back on what happened to you, it's got to be marvelous to you
Yeah,
to know that.
it is.
that
It was a great surprise.
Roger is known in the community for what he's done,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people need to know that this is the woman behind him.
Well, most of the people that worked with me do know that because I was much gentler with the contractors than he was.
Then,
When I had a hard time, I'd say, "Would you rather deal with me or would you rather deal with Roger?"
they said, "Oh no, no,
Oh,
no."
we'll do what you want us to.
Well, it was meant to be that you two possessed these skills in different
Yeah.
areas. He couldn't have done it without you.
Probably not.
No, and vice versa. Talking about houses, did you and Roger build a house on Marina Lake?
Yes.
Tell us where that is, Marina Lake.
21st and 100 at Mingo. There's a big retention pond there. It is a lake, but it's man-made. And we built the apartments around it, and my father-in-law and I built the house that on the lake. It was up on poles because it was kind of a flood area there. Mingo Creek, I guess. And it did flood once when we lived there. We moved from there to the McBurney house. And we lived there for a few years. Roger always wanted this house. And he had told whoever he was dealing with.
The house you're living in now.
Yes.
Right.
That if this house ever came on the market, to let him know. And it did eventually. And real estate lady was saying, "Do you want to look at the closets?" And he said, "No, I'm not buying the house for the closets." Which it does have nice big closets.
Do you know who built this house that we're in right now?
John and Lottie Jane, maybe, and they had I've got the original plans.
You'd say maybe?
Uh-huh.
As in the Maybe Center?
Uh-huh.
That family?
Uh-huh.
John Maybe built this house.
Yes. And then one other buyer, they both died. Somebody else bought it and lived here a few years. And then we moved in and we're the last people. We've lived here over 40 years. It was built in 1935, but it has a lot of quality work.
But let me bring you back to the McBurney Mansion, where you lived for several years. By the way, I looked it up. It was James McBurney. He's a co-founder of the Bank of Commerce.
Yes.
Who lived there until 1976. So you must have enjoyed living in that. That's quite a nice place.
It was a nice place. It had an elevator and a basement and a little garage apartment behind, over 3-car garage, and it was different. There were a lot of homeless people that kind of camped down over the hill there was a spring, a natural spring that ran down there. So I think people had always camped down there. Mm-hmm. And occasionally, if I forgot to lock the door, I'd look up and somebody would be walking through my house.
Wow.
Used to drive to California.
Drive to California?
Mm-hmm.
And why?
To see my grandparents.
Oh.
We didn't do it very often. There were 5 of us.
And who would drive?
My dad.
Remember the car, what it was?
Chevrolet. We got a brand new Chevrolet right after the war. And we had one of those little funky air blowers that you put on the window and blow air in. Did you ever see one of those?
No. Wow. So you're talking about World War II, weren't you?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Did you remember worrying about that, wondering whether or not the United States was...
Our family was pretty well self-contained, and they grew everything almost that they ate, and they had cattle and beef, and we never really suffered through the Depression. I'm sure they suffered, but we never did without any food or anything like that.
No. farmers always survived because they could
Yes.
provide.
But they didn't talk much about anything in the family.
That was in the going on in the
In the
news.
world.
Right.
We had a radio, but we had no TV, and the Kansas City Star was the newspaper, the only newspaper that you could get in Carnegie, and it had to be by subscription.
Oh,
And so that's what the little news we got from the Kansas City Star.
interesting. It wouldn't have been Oklahoma City paper. But
Well,
you
we're talking I was born in 1936.
Right, okay.
So, I
Right.
don't know. I remember taking, during the war, toothpaste tubes.
Mm-hmm.
We'd save them up and then take them to the drugstore in Anadarko. When anybody went to Anadarko, we'd send all of that. That was one of the things they wanted for the war. I don't know what they did with them.
Empty toothpaste tubes.
Mm-hmm.
There was rationing going on during the war.
Yeah.
Gas, but maybe farmers weren't affected by that.
And I remember when the war was over, we lived out on the hill, and my dad came in and said, "The war's over." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's good." I mean, it didn't really affect me one way or the other, and I was so young, but I was glad it was over.
Yeah.
We had a bootlegger in Carnegie,
A bootlegger?
yeah, that sold whiskey.
Yeah.
But my dad paid him a visit when we were growing up, told him if he ever sold any of his kids' liquor, that he'd have to pay for it. He'd come back and
Good.
deal with him.
Good.
And there was one beer joint that I was never in. I don't know if my sisters peeked their head in. I don't think so. It was just kind of a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
So we led a pretty simple life.
How about church? Did you guys go to church?
Yes, we went to church.
What church was it?
We were Baptists then, but and all the different places we lived, you just went to whatever church they had. Most those little communities have one or two churches. If they have a Catholic church, they've got somebody coming in once a month to have service, but for the most part, you just take what you can get. So Mother was Presbyterian at one time, and we weren't always Baptist, but I still have a lot of Baptist in me.
You do?
I'm Methodist now.
What does that mean, you have a lot of Baptist in you?
Well, I just grew up in the Baptist church, and a lot of their doctrine still kind of stuck with me. But I think the Baptist church has changed a lot in the last few years. I think they're a little more that. There was none of that going on when we were growing up.
You mean evangelical? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
They're more, yeah. But now you call yourself a Methodist.
Yeah, I belong to the Methodist church here in town.
Which one?
First United Methodist.
Okay, right.
So, anyway, we're flexible.
Right.
And we used to, when we were teenagers, if somebody asked you out on Sunday night, we'd tell our parents, we didn't always go, that we were going to church.
You told your parents you're going to church. Yeah. And instead, where did you go?
Oh, driving around. Carnegie has one street. It's called Main Street. And it made a big circle and just drove around and around and waved at everybody. And I don't know, go out in country and park and kiss.
Right. They did that in Tulsa too,
I'm
driving
sure
up
they
Peoria.
did.
Right.
But there's so much going on now that I would never have believed when I was 16 that could happen to people. The world has just gone crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't much approve of that.
You and Roger never got involved politically at all, I don't think, did you?
Oh, a little bit. He's an independent. John Glenn spent the night here. He was coming through Tulsa. He and Roger were friends. I think it was kind of a fundraiser. We had a party for him. Then he spent the night here.
He was probably running for president then, trying to run.
Maybe, I don't remember.
Where was it that it started coming about that we should give back to the community?
When we got enough money to give back. I don't remember exactly when that was, but it was quite a long time ago. In small ways we gave back, and then when we started making good money, then we gave a little bit more.
Right. Well, then you did establish the Hardesty Family Foundation in 2005. But before that, you got involved with the library in the city county library.
Yes.
And that's when you supported, that was in the 1980s. A donation was the catalyst for the development of the endowment.
Yes.
And that helped the library with special programs. And so the South Regional Library then was renamed in honor of you and Roger.
Yes.
To know that that's the Hardesty Library. Was that one of your focuses? Was that your idea to start focusing on the library?
Not too much. I always left that to Roger. He's never just turned amounts of money over to me to do that with. And so I just said, it's your job, you do it. I'm on the board of the trust.
The library became too small, so you and Roger donated 8 acres of real estate there.
Yes.
So they construct a new building and a much bigger building.
Yes.
So the Family Foundation established in 2005. You got involved in many areas, Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges.
Yeah, that's on 11th, Utica or something down the way.
I drive it all the time.
Yeah.
Utica, right, yeah. But you must have had some input for some of this.
Well, they make application to the foundation, and there's a board, and we all vote on it. And Michelle and Dana research these companies, go by and look at them and talk to them and whatnot. So they do a lot of the footwork.
You mentioned Michelle. I was going to ask you about this because she went to college at New York University.
Yes.
And there was a modeling agency there that invited her to model. And I guess you said no to that?
Pretty much. When she graduated, she moved back home, and I don't know if she's been back to New York or not. It was really, it was time-consuming by the time you got dressed up and your makeup on and your hair done, and you go to the photographer, and the photographer takes time, and it was just too time-consuming, and she really didn't have that in mind for her future anyway.
So she did some of the modeling.
Well, she did, yeah. She did a thing or two. She did some things here in Tulsa. Bill Blass' show at
Miss Jackson's?
Yeah, and at Southern Hills. Seemed like a waste of time to her, so she just dropped it.
Right. You have grandchildren now with Debbie and Michelle, and who are they?
Debbie has 2, Alex and Paul, and Michelle has 1. I've got 3 grandsons, and I have 3 great-grandchildren. One's a 2-year-old girl, one's almost 3, a boy, and then a baby boy belongs to Paul. So I have 3
But the grandson you didn't name is Connor, right?
Yeah.
And isn't he involved in the business today?
I suspect that when Roger retires that he'll take over the airplane business because he is a pilot. He's learned a lot working with Roger. He's a helicopter pilot and he flies a Gulfstream.
All this flying that Roger did you enjoy that, flying with him?
We took a lot of really nice vacations, Paris, London, Switzerland, Iceland, been a lot of places. I can't even remember where they are.
That he could fly those places.
Yes.
Some of the causes that you've been involved in was the Tulsa Zoo.
That's a big favorite of the family. They love the zoo.
You've helped a little lighthouse. They have a therapy garden there.
Yeah.
Tulsa Garden Center, Life Senior Services, Community Food Bank, John 316 Mission,
Yes.
Meals on Wheels, USA BMX, Hardesty National Track Stadium, Tulsa Community College West Campus, Hardesty Student Success Center there, the Union Innovation, that's Union High School, Innovation Lab, Tulsa Sobering Center, Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation,
Yeah, and that's a big one of Roger's. He likes that one.
Mental Health Association, in support of the Mental Health Association Oklahoma in support of criminal justice reform.
Well, we primarily like to do things around Tulsa, but we sometimes do something in the state of Oklahoma, but it's mostly here in Tulsa.
Were there people way back that you think helped you along the way, that were mentors that you looked up to?
Yes, Bill Fryman. I'm sure you don't know who he is. He's been dead forever. But he owned Mercury Mortgage. He gave us a lot of help in getting financing to build the houses and just general information.
Yeah, that was a big help in your business.
Yeah, it was. And he liked Roger. He called him the bear.
The bear?
And Roger liked him. And we traveled some together. And when you first start building your first 2 or 3 houses, you have to have somebody to recommend you to the bank to get the money. And I remember they made Roger take out $1 million life insurance policy. And as soon as you started making money, he dropped that.
Well, you've had a good life, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Excellent. I've got great grandkids and that have never caused any problems. My daughters were kind of a pain to raise. But my grandkids have all been good.
And Debbie's over here.
Yeah.
Debbie, how do you feel about that? No, she's just smiling. That's funny. When you think, how would you like to be remembered?
I don't know. I have never thought about it. I guess as doing what we could with the money we had for the city, or Oklahoma.
Yeah. It's an amazing story, and what your foundation has done for this community is amazing.
It is amazing.
And in so many areas, we already went through that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one focus.
Right.
It was spread out.
Yeah.
If the Hardesty Foundation was taken out of this community, it would have been a big difference.
It would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, somebody might have filled the gap, but...
And eventually, probably, but
yeah.
not at the level that you provided. When you think about Roger being born in a dugout, isn't that an amazing story?
Yeah.
And then the two of you for where you are today. Well, it was fun to meet you, and Debbie, you, and I've known Michelle now for some time, and Roger too. So I feel very fortunate to be able to come into your home and talk to you.
I feel fortunate that you're doing this.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been listening to the Voices of Oklahoma podcast, stories taken from the oral history website, voicesofoklahoma.com. At the website, you will discover an array of storytellers. Many you will know. Some will be new to you, but all will be worth your time. This work depends on listeners like you, who are interested in learning about the great people of Oklahoma. Our website provides an opportunity to donate to this 501c3 project, which preserves Oklahoma history, one voice at a time. voicesofoklahoma.com.